Happy birthday. Chúc mừng sinh nhật.
Wow. Did you put all these thumbnails up for me?
Yep.
Happy birthday!
Now I have to finish my animations. Ah yes, the title gives the details. I got therapy. I just feel a lot of pressure to speak freely, like I should take a break from family.
Well, that's the thing. You could.
I can be sort of quiet. I might want a cute hairstyle, and then I go in, and it barely shows. But I'd pay. I'd go home. I don't like it. So I got my hair dyed, but it doesn't look visible.
Well, how about you go back? You can get your money's worth, and they can't say no to that.
Yeah. So I call. I go. I sit. I'll have a gradient going to blonde, please.
Do you want a balayage? Or an ombre?
I don't know what either of those mean. The first one. That session actually just made the hair too dramatic.
You know, you could just go back again.
I don't want to. So yeah, quietness got the best of me, and I feel like I didn't get what I wanted. Another story of quietness is my friend named Fuda, who we met through other connections, but I accidentally got off on the wrong foot mentally.
Hey, it's nice to meet you again. Do you want to go to a cafe and hang out?
Sure. He barely knew me and was inviting me somewhere, which got me thinking. I totally wondered if he liked me, but that wasn't actually what was going on. Man, it would be really great to have a close friend. I don't even think I'm interested in looking into relationships. But he's a guy. There's no way he'd be a close friend. Fuda didn't like me. But I didn't actually ask, and that could have caused a lot of trouble. Luckily, I learned that we had something in common. There's that basic fact. Opposites attract. And Fuda and I both like the same opposite, which led to a new situation where every time we chatted about people we liked, I realized anyone he was into, I was probably into. So that person
Purple.
you liked, they're pretty cool. I don't think I made it obvious to Fuda that I had interests, but then
Purple.
immediately invited me to a party while we were hanging out. And here's a second stage of quietness. I went, I tried something on that was sparkly, and even found a corset that I couldn't put on by myself.
Just a little tighter.
Breathe. We posed for this music video that was going on a freaking skateboard rink. It was pretty cool. Then someone spotted me with
Purple.
and said,
You both look like you decided to match today.
We didn't mean to match.
as truthful as the remark that was from
Purple.
I gave up pursuing them because I was so nervous. There were other factors involved that could have shown that there was no interest between us, but either way, I could have spoke my mind and that could have been way better. So back to therapy. The therapist mentioned me separating from family, which is something I considered. It was because I felt very distant from family on my last visit, and as I was contemplating it, I reached out to other family members who had also left religion just like I had. Turns out a lot of them were fairly removed from their family, and it almost felt like some kind of omen that I would be in the same boat. So I guess I kept to myself, even around family. Technically, these thoughts that I had, I didn't talk about. I thought about leaving family for so long, that's also why I needed therapy. But there's one more thing that was a struggle. Oh yeah. Showing family videos I made told an imperfect story about our lives. And telling imperfect stories doesn't really go well when people want perfection. Funnily enough, making videos about my life is the one thing that isn't so quiet about me. Haha, ironic. Meanwhile, my favorite YouTuber ever is my fam. She's a vlogger, and her common catchphrase from past videos is, "Your fear of looking stupid is holding you back." This is the kind of phrase I wish I had glued in my head. Other than family, I actually handle talk about my animations pretty reasonably. Okay, maybe at work I don't handle it as well, but there's a sense of vulnerability to it that I think I'm getting the hang of.
Here's my advice for you. Setting boundaries helps you maintain healthier relationships. That way, you can make more relationships with more people.
Woo! So in the end, there is a close bond between me and my family. We actually play music together and it sounds like an orchestra.
Come in at the first da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, maybe it doesn't sound like that, but you get the idea. But we play music, and sometimes we actually do review it with a lot of criticism. My boundaries with music and my family, even though there's criticism, are pretty well maintained, so I can be alright in those kinds of situations. Like that relationship with music in my family, my therapist asked me to separate my art from family in a similar way. Basically, if I practice my art in a different headspace for a period of time, I can go back to interacting with my family without my anxiousness inserting itself. I didn't even know I needed help through therapy, and yet it got me this far. Boundaries make so much sense! To further extend myself to succeed in my animations, I have one more friend, Sarah. Sarah does work with me, and we make a great team. She was recently looking at my art and really pushed me to post it.
Your animations are so good! They're so snappy, colorful, witty. I really want to show it to my cousin. Can I show it to my cousin? You should post your art online.
I agreed, and I felt like I was on the route to success just from that advice alone. And the next second I was obsessing over false realities again. This time, it was about my sister. She actually had a large following on the internet, and I started worrying about the boundaries my family would take and say that maybe I was trying to be just like her, or that I was overstepping and talking too much, or no, After thinking about all of that, maybe this animation is too much trouble. You paid too much therapy for that kind of talk, young lady. And that's why I'm here. Alright guys, listen here. Those of you watching every one of my videos gets the inside scoop. I really love drawing, and this is like one of my main ways of expressing myself, so the 1,000 watchers of you guys are my favorites. However, I do see long-form content like documentary long vid style coming out, so I will probably be posting one of those just for the sake of something less time-consuming. And Sponge Miku is coming along very well, but I don't really get paid on YouTube for that kind of stuff, so I'm shooting Sponge Miku for the end of July. Hopefully those two lovers can find their way.